Come on down. You're the next contestant on Price is Right Wrestling, and thank you so much for inviting us in your house. But we apologize for eating and drinking so much that we threw up all over your couch and your recliner and your table and your patio and your carpet and also your cat. We promise that there's something that can take the stains out of everything except your cat. You're probably going to have to give them a bath. And we know how hard it is to wash the stains out of pussy. But I promise that there's something that can take the stains out of all that furniture. It's kaboom! Billy Mays here as my brain goes kaboom. Anyway, I'm John Renton with my review of WWE NXT 2.0 in your house 2022. Boy, you could just take a USA Network edition of NXT 2.0 and give it the premium live event label, and you basically, they're the same goddamn picture. It's like that meme. There really wasn't much difference between this and a bit more of a pumped up edition of the USA Network show. That being said, there were a few standout moments, and then there were some times that were really not that fucking good. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. NXT 2.0 is a fucking mess. There were some cool moments on this show, but goddamn it, for every cool moment, you're just like wondering, what the fuck has happened to NXT? The pre-show, by the way, they were in Florida because they can't draw a goddamn crowd anywhere. I can't wait to see how little fan turnout there is for the live touring that they're going to be doing around Florida. But anyway, Mackenzie is here. I like Mackenzie. Why the fuck is Sam Roberts here? The last professional broadcaster in the... No! Not going to say that. All I'm going to say is Walt Disney wouldn't be a fan of him. He would want to be put back in. So anyway, Roderick Strong reiterates that if the Creeds lose, they're out of Diamond Mine. Please stop having Roderick Strong cut promos for the love of fucking God. Idris Enofe and Malik Blade make the most of any television time that they get. Credit to them. Team BBC, who doesn't love seeing a bunch of BBC across your screen? I know I do. I will be taking no further questions about this. But in all seriousness, these guys, they make them out. They're entertaining, and they have a lot of fun. Todd Pettengill voiceover. My God, we're back in the mid-90s. I like Todd Pettengill. He was a nice guy. He was barely a nice guy. He seemed to have a lot of enthusiasm. Anyway, yeah, this isn't a drill because the drill unfortunately is in the shop. There's also a drill currently at Home Depot that I'm looking to get. Why? Because I can't remain calm even though it's only a drill. Okay, these puns aren't landing at all. Let's just talk about Legoland Phantasm. So, Escobar, Wilde, and Mendoza with Elektra Lopez. My goodness. Taking on Tony and Stacks and Two Dimes. Tony D's goons. The losing team joins the winning team's stable, or family. Okay, I haven't cared for this feud from the beginning. All the vignettes have been stupid. Was the action fine? Sure. Did they do a lot of moves? They did. And guess who didn't care? I didn't care. Escobar deserves a whole lot better than this. I met Wilde when he was DJZ on the Indies before he got signed to NXT. Super nice guy, super happy for his success. Tony D's stock has fallen significantly in the last few months. But, by the way, we first get a pre-tape of Tony D's group and all the people they beat up, and then Elektra Lopez, they have her check, or she uses her witchy powers to have the referee check by the steps, and they get the crowbar, and then he just puts the crowbar in another place. Devon Storm is very uncomfortable being crammed into a whole bunch of places. And... look, they did a lot of action. It wasn't the dullest match I've seen, but it also was like a lot of multi-man matches. It just got to where it dissolved into moves, kicks, and distractions, and then we get a Nux punch. That is easy for me to say. And one of the goons gets pushed onto, I believe, Wilde or Mendoza. I stopped caring at one point. And 1, 2, 3. So now Legoland Phantasm is under the control of Tony D's group. The Italians are controlling the Mexicans. Oh boy, this is going to lead to some really bad stereotypical vignettes. That's going to be fun. I wonder which of Shawn Michaels' eyes he will have on this particular form of creative. The good one or the one Kane knocked loose. Brett was better. This match wasn't it. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's just... I'm so sour on NXT. Anyway... we get a vignette from St. Elmo's Fire. What was wrong with Kaylee Ray? Edinburgh Fire. Okay? Stupid. I mean, I'm not even saying, like, carrying a flaming bat, all that stuff's cool, but whatever. She's the fire keeper. Are you the gate master? Or however that line went. Lash legend Tatum Paxley and 3 other people I don't recognize were backstage, and I guess Tatum Paxley is going to challenge St. Elbows Fire to a match. And then Caden and Katana, or Carter and Chance. Caden and Carter are going to do comedy. KKK, that's not good. And they do, I don't know why they do the fire extinguisher stuff. Who are the goons that kept whooping? I just want them to know that I hate them. So, Toxic Attraction arrive in a fancy car, and JC Jane, my goodness. JC Jane makes the most of any television time that she gets. I don't know why she acts like a freaking goofy riot for no goddamn reason, but it's entertaining as fuck. And Gigi, her and JC make a good team. JC, to me, is the standout of the team, in my personal opinion. And Carter's not bad in the ring. The former Casey Catanzaro, who, she's gone as far as she can go. She's just not that interesting. She's about the size of a freaking penny. And it doesn't look like any of her offense with her. I'm sorry. At least Carter looks like she can duck and move and make some offense look good. Chance can do the flippy shit, but that's it. The match wasn't bad. At least there were some stakes. This was for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, by the way, which will probably end up being the only tag team championships for the women going forward, because they seemingly have forgotten about the tournament for the main roster. You know, with the 3 teams they have. So anyway, Caden eventually gets a hot tag, and we get some convoluted double team stuff from Carter and Chance. Then we get an apron bump for no reason. Then we get a forearm, and oh no, the German on Carter. 1, 2, 3. You can't even have the worst one of the group take the pin, but whatever. At least Toxic Attraction retain their gold. Cool. Then Pretty Deadly Glory show up, or they're getting their hair ready and everything. They're prettifying their hair. And then Hayes and Tricky Williams make their entrance, and Grimes decided to come from the moon. And then what did Grimes and Hayes do in this match for the North American Championship? All the moves. It was well worked, action-packed. I didn't care. I'm sorry. I didn't. That's nothing against these guys. Grimes is a good worker. Hayes is a very good worker. Hayes eventually won with that leg drop for 3 after, some distractions and some stuff like that. There was a nice cave-in on the apron to Tricky Williams before that. And Hayes is a 2-time North American champion. Hayes also needs to come up with a different finisher in that leg drop off the top, because his neck and spine, his spine and hip are going to hate him in 5 to 7 years. Look, people know their bodies better than anybody else, anyone that's like on the outside looking in. Obviously, you know what your body can stand, but there are only so many bump cards, and just as a wrestling fan watching this stuff, I worry. But that being said, it looks fancy, and Hayes is primed for the main roster. He really is. I have a feeling he's going to be called up within the next few months. Then Joe Wayne Gacy has the Druids for no reason. Why does he have the Druids? The guy can cut a pretty good promo. He's not bad in the ring. And they're trying to make him Bray Wyatt 2.0. And then Wendy wakes up from a nap. Somebody needs to put this gimmick to sleep, or put the creative minds to sleep. Permanently, hopefully in front of their families. I'm sorry. Am I being too mean? Wendy Choo, the narcoleptic, taking on Mandy Rose for the NXT Women's Championship. I've never been the biggest Mandy Rose fan, but I feel she's done the best to reinvent herself, and has done, at least at worst, acceptable during part of her NXT Women's title reign. At times, some of the matches have been pretty decent. Sure, Mandy Rose's title reign should end at some point. You don't want it to get too stale. And it's not stale yet, but you don't want it to get too stale. But there was no excuse for Wendy Choo to get any kind of offense in. Mandy should have mauled her within 5 fucking minutes. And I don't care how good Wendy is in the fucking ring. The Wendy Choo gimmick is one of the biggest catastrophes and embarrassment to professional wrestling, and whatever creative mind came up with that deserves to be slapped with a fucking brick. I'm sick of this shit. Oh, I shouldn't take it so seriously and everything. Well, sure, you can have entertainment in wrestling. I've heard sometimes I take things too seriously. And yes, as a wrestling fan of 37 years, it does mean that sometimes I get a little bit fired up. Maybe I shouldn't. But This was This was one of the worst modern era women's matches that WWE has done. It was one of the worst matches of the year. It was sloppy. At one point, there was a counter via body pillow because she ripped up the body pillows. That fired Wendy Choo up. She started to take off her pajamas, had a Toxic Attraction shirt with X's through it, and tried to do some rear naked choke thing. And then she got hit with the pump kick. 1, 2, 3. Thank fuck Mandy won. Otherwise, you might as well have just taken the NXT Women's Championship and throw in the dirt. Build somebody up and have her win. Have Io Shirai come back from injury. If she's able to come back, have her beat Mandy and have her drop it to somebody after a few months. Give her a Finn Balor type run. Just something. But don't you dare put this goddamn catastrophe that is the Wendy Choo fucking gimmick on anyone's television screen again. This kind of gimmick should get it pulled from the USA Network. It entertains the kids. So is eating fucking paste. And and I wouldn't necessarily trust kids to figure out what's entertaining for them. Let the adults tell them what's entertaining for them. Spoken like somebody that doesn't have kids and never will, because seriously, I don't think you understand how much I loathe the idea of having children. But protect your children, unlike the people in Uvalde, because the police are fucking cowards. Off my soapbox, Wendy Choo, embarrassing gimmick. Toxic Attraction celebrates. Miss As If from Roxanne are backstage. And then we get a timeline of the Creeds. I feel the need for Creed. Boy, that was really shoehorned there, Vic. Who told you to say that? Vic Joseph actually seemed like a nice guy. That was either produced or he just decided, shit, I need to come up with something. Let me come up with a bad way to mock a Top Gun line. By the way, Top Gun Maverick, fucking tremendous. Hey, the Creeds took on Pretty Deadly Glory for the NXT Tag Team Championship. The crowd loved the Creed. And guess how I felt about this match? I'm happy for the Creeds. I fucking can't stand Pretty Deadly. This is one of the worst fucking teams I have seen. From a visual standpoint, I don't care how they can work. I don't care. Visually, it looks like two guys trying to cosplay as John Heder and Will Ferrell from Blades of Glory, except in a worse way. They look goofy. They look like shit. And it's like, or actually mix Legolas with that. It just take those things, human centipede them together. It's stupid. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to take this seriously? The Creeds won, and it was a big pop, and the Creeds are a really fucking good team. They are, and maybe Pretty Deadly is. Maybe I just can't get past the fact that they look like fucking jokes. Good on the Creeds for winning. Can we get them a credible team to face now? They stay in Diamond Mine, for what that's worth, nothing, because Roderick Strong is going to pretty much promo them out of into fucking obscurity because he really can't talk, but he can wrestle. Next week, Miss As If versus Roxanne for the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament. Tatum versus St. Elmo's Fire, and Briggs versus Von Wagner. I cannot think of a match that I want to see less than Josh Briggs versus the Cro-Magnon himself, fucking Von Wagner. The champ comes out first. That's always worrying. Joe Wayne Gacy, by the way, has Druid. Why does Joe Wayne Gacy have Druids? The guy can cut a believable promo and can be creepy. You don't have to overdo it. The guy can work. This gimmick ain't it. Steiner took on Joe Wayne Gacy for the NXT Championship, and if Steiner got DQ'd, he would lose the NXT title. And they kept trying to get him DQ'd, and eventually he hit a spear. Gacy took a bump onto the announcer's table, and I thought that he had broken some ribs. That was brutal. I hope he's all right. And he kept trying to get him to hit him and everything. He tried a light, cheat, and steal thing just before that, but it didn't work. A diving bulldog for 2. Eventually, the chair gets involved. He hits one of the Druids. Spear, press slam, 1, 2, 3. And NXT 2.0 goes out with a... Steiner is somebody that they really could feature, but this kind of feud with Joe Wayne Gacy has not worked at all. It just... They got problems. They got to come up with shit that isn't so cartoonish and dumb. I don't care if it's developmental. At this point, just develop it on the cock and don't develop it on USA Network and take a valuable cable programming time. But we here at Price is Right Wrestling would like to remind you to control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Bye, everybody.